are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
Life, liberty, and the
If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear.
Make America great again.
The Big Mig.
All right, welcome back to the Big Mig Show, and good morning. I'm Lance Migliaccio, and my co-host George Ballantine. Rise and grind, it's tip of the spear, edge of the knife. Yeah, we're ready to go.
Nice, so red.
Because you know what the plan is each and every episode, to put out the truth, the facts, the sauce, the receipts, to educate and unify the country. George B., what's up, bro?
I don't know. I just got out of the shower. My eyes are like steaming red. Look at them.
That's it. If I didn't know you better, I'd say you smoke some weed, but I know you don't smoke.
Definitely not.
I know you don't do any drugs.
You know it's legal now.
Yeah. I'm not. That was never really anything. Even back when the years and decades ago when I did do stuff like that, I just could never figure out the cachet in marijuana. I just couldn't figure it out because all it made me want to do was eat. And I don't need any help. I don't need any improvement in my eating. It would just make me, drowsy and just lazy. And I just can't see the benefit of that. I never really thought that was a drug to use. A lot of people enjoy it. I never did. I never really liked it. Really only tried it a couple of times and thought it sucked. All right. Well, listen, thanks for joining us today. Don't forget, if you like the show, thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe. Those comments really matter to Rumble. And of course, getting in here, getting in the chat. They like to see lots of momentum on the shows. Whatever you can do to help us get and grow, we appreciate everything you guys do. So, of course, that matters. And if you like to sponsor the show, you can hit us up over at info@thebigmig.com. Always looking for some good sponsors and some good products for our audience. So I would love to do that if you're interested. And, of course, if you think you like the show, hit the $5 subscription, join the paid subscription team. We're always trying to grow that base because you like to have consistent money because you always have consistent bills with these shows. And, of course, Rumble Rant tips, as always, are greatly appreciated. We really do appreciate you guys. And we have had a nice amount of tips lately. So thank you for that. Great thing. And we also, don't forget, Rumble, the true free speech platform. You can get Perplexity. Think about doing a Rumble paid subscription. It's a big deal. It helps Rumble. It helps us. We want to see Rumble continue to grow. We'd like to see them, exceed YouTube in the future. So whatever we can do. All right, let's jump out here. Gold and silver. We love it. You see it moving around. I always tell you that having something on hand in case everything goes foobar. And what do I talk about? Not only crypto on our crypto show on Wednesdays and Fridays, the #1 crypto show on Rumble. We talk about this baby right here. It's the Prepper Bar, the 62.2 gram Prepper Bar, perforated and very easily broken down into your choice of 3 different denominations. You can see them right there when I tilt the bar. Fits a multitude of needs, and I don't care whether it's for diversification, asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its very unique utility for barter and trade. The Prepper Bar is a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. These are exclusively mined and minted in the great US of A, and they're always selling out fast. They're available. They're in stock. They come with an assay report. You won't get any counterfeit gold coming out of the guys at Genesis. Jonathan Rose and the team, super experts. You can do your IRA over there. You can just buy bullion. Head over to thebigmigbar.com. That's right, thebigmigbar.com. Now, here's your promo code. Write this down if you need to. All caps Prepper. PREPPR. That's PREPPR. 10% off on the silver, 5% off on the gold. You can use that QR code if you like. Take a snapshot and go there after the show. Otherwise, here's the phone number. 888-526-7154. 888-526-7154. Thebigmigbar.com.
Break me off a piece of that Prepper Bar.
There it is.
There it is.
George, freshly showered, ready to go. Looks
I don't know if I'm ready to go, but
I want to give the disclaimer. He did not 420.
Oh, wait a minute. Who's in there?
What?
Is Dr. Schwartz in the chat?
Dr. Schwartz.
I don't know. Hold on. Let me see.
Let me know if he's.
I heard somebody tag him just now, but he's actually rated us. Okay, the Mike Schwartz Show. Hey, Mike, if you're listening, let's try to bring you on Friday. Just kick out the weekend. Come on after your show. What do you say? wait for the chat. But make sure you give the Mike Schwartz Show a follow, show support.
Exactly.
He's one of us.
He's
One of us. He's a friend of ours.
Yeah. And he's a funny son of a bitch, really. He's a funny guy, man. Very well educated. Obviously not only a doctor, but in so many other areas. I love him and his wife. The banter between the two of them, great relationship, great content. So if you're not following Mike Schwartz, give him a follow. Also, he deserves it. He's worked extremely hard, written so many books. I mean, this guy is just.
He said he could do that. All right.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's have him on. I love it. I love the opportunity.
Okay.
All right,
Mike.
let's continue to go here. Let's talk about
Save Act. Now let's talk about.
George and I were laughing
Filibuster.
because we were talking about different titles. Because you're always wondering about the titles. We were like, I was thinking about you could have gone the Save Act. It goes and you take the word filibuster and you just take out the Philly and the ER and you leave bust. Save Act goes bust. And we think the filibuster goes bust. Save Act is dead on arrival. And then we went into a dialogue. And this is the problem. I've said it all along. It's a uniparty. We're going to jump in here with John Thune, and then George and I will tell you exactly what we discussed. I think you guys would want to hear it. So Thune says, there are, this is a shocker. I hate even the way this is worded. There are now discussions underway to enforce the talking filibuster for the Save America Act.
Bullshit.
What, all of a sudden it just came up in the last day or so, George? He just amazingly figured out that this, but he said there's an issue. There are currently not 50 Republican senators willing to go down that path, even though they sponsored the bill. Now, how pathetic is that? George, you tell me. I mean, clearly they don't want the SAVE Act to pass. They're not willing to do whatever it takes. These guys had the life of Riley. They work less days than any other American. Less days than any other American. Thune's in here. I guess to play the clip, but I'm just disgusted. It's just the same old song and dance. It's just the same old.
God help us.
Let's go, George.
I thought I was able to put a word in and allowed to comment, but I guess not. Okay.
Oh, no, go.
To the Republicans in your conference who are pushing over and over again that you can do this with the talking filibuster.
Well, there are a couple things about that. One is, once we get on, if we were to go down that path, it's very hard to pivot and get back to open up the government. I frankly think we ought to. We need a deal, make sure that DHS, TSA, Coast Guard, FEMA, all those agencies are funded. And so I'm hopeful there will be a breakthrough on that. That's going to require some, obviously cooperation from the Democrats, who we haven't seen a lot of so far. But we want to get to the SAVE Act. We also, as I mentioned, we've got a housing bill that we can pivot back and forth to if we get a deal to open up the government. That's harder to do once you're in the throes of a talking filibuster. The talking filibuster issue is one on which there is not certainly a unified Republican conference, and there would have to be. If you go down that path, you're talking about the need to table what are going to be numerous amendments and an ability to keep 50 Republicans unified pretty much on every single vote. And there isn't the support for doing that at this point. As I've said, and we will get on it and we will have a vote on the SAVE Act. The context of that, the process in which we consider it is still an open question, but one that we're having conversations about, but clearly not a unified position, at least among Republicans in the Senate.
But it sounds like that vote might be subject to a 60 vote threshold. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's obviously a very real possibility.
Leader Thune, on tariffs specifically, the president last.
So pretty much, Thune is full of shit. Because let's face it, he could have put that vote to the floor last month. Now it's an excuse. Oh, they got to do the funding for DHS and all the other shit. I mean, it's always going to be something. But you want to know what the real reason. I got the real reason why they're not doing anything. And listen, I love dogs. I think dogs are great. They're your best friends. They'll be there with you through thick and thin. But they're not doing a freaking SAVE Act because they're having a dog parade in Congress. I have the video. I'm not kidding. This is this morning. This is why they're not doing shit, because they're too busy with doing a fucking dog parade. That's more important than saving America. saving our taxes from being wasted. You know, can we have secure elections? Is that possible? Well, I don't know. I maybe have a dog parade next week too. What are they gonna have, a cat parade too coming up? I mean, it's crazy, Lance. I love dogs. I know you love dogs too, but I want to play it and you can rip on it.
Yes. You have been hanging around the Senate button. Come on in. There he is. Oh yeah, and the senator came too. Everybody knows Baby Dog's story, right?
I mean, look, it's cute and all, but how about you do the dog parade when you're at a session or something? Do it on your own time. Not on you're doing it on our taxpayers' dime. Where did this shit come from, Lance? I'm like,
You know, excuses are like assholes. We all have them and they all smell. And that seems to be what we're getting out of the Republicans. I'm disgusted by this, to be honest with you. And I just, you know, I keep hoping, right? You know, I sit here and I hope that, you know, I'm wrong, that it isn't a uniparty, that they aren't trying to destroy the country. Clearly, they don't want the SAVE Act. To make comments like, you know, there are now discussions underway. Why weren't there discussions underway, you know, for weeks and weeks and weeks now? I think it's incredible. And, you know, they don't want to filibuster. Why? Because you know how that works, what they have to do. I just, you know, we need this voter ID. Donald Trump mentioned it at the State of the Union, you know, how important this is. And they just don't want to do it. And I think that just proves, I mean, and let me ask this in the chat. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. Do you guys think that voter ID is as necessary as George and I do? That's the first question. The second question is, am I wrong? Don't you think that if they really wanted voter ID, if the Republicans were really gung-ho and behind it, that this would be their top tippy-top priority? I mean, I know what they're talking about. They're talking about funding, right? Another government shutdown funding. And that excuse about this constant extension of government funding, stop stealing the freaking money. Stop trying to make a bill that's 5,000 pages long for government funding. Stop trying to jam in all your pork barrel legislation. Stop. Maybe just pass the bill and make it simple. Stop being a bunch of freaking criminals. No wonder they 1776, you know? At the end of the day, you understand why. The frustration that I internally have over this. George, and you tell me, does it seem like the Republicans really want the SAVE Act and voter ID to pass?
No, they are sabotaging it. And one thing they're gonna do is, if they do pass it, they're gonna wait, because it'll be too far, you know, in a year to implement that stuff in this year's election. So it'd have to be the next time around. Meanwhile, then the Democrats take over and then they start putting bills like, I don't know, let's repeal the SAVE Act. Why not? If it gets passed and shit like that. That's the problem. It's just,
and I'm going to tell you right now,
everything's a distraction with them. You know, next thing it's going to be, we're fighting Iran. We got to focus on that, or you know, it'll be something. Anything, you know, whatever.
And I want to go on air and say something. I heard something from somebody.
You heard something? Go ahead. Here you go, bro. The floor is yours.
So, and I don't know if it's true. I mean, I know it's true. The dialogue I was told. Pam Bondi called somebody I know and had a discussion with them. And I'm not going to go into all the details because I don't want to out them. But I'm going to tell you this, that maybe it's possible that there are still a lot of deep state people around Donald Trump that are advising him what not to do. And it is possible. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this and you know how I felt about Bondi. You know, I've said lots of comments about her. I've blamed her for a lot of things. And I have to be that kind of guy. I can't do it with you guys. I think it's important for you guys that when I'm not saying I made a mistake yet. I'm saying that it is very possible that Pam Bondi is being held back and she'd be given priorities that aren't really the priorities that the American people want. And she's being told that this is a priority and that's a priority, but no, that's not really a priority. She showed some genuine concern on this call about how the Epstein thing was being handled. And the person that was on that line with her felt like it was very genuine. So I'm going to tell you something. I think that it is possible that Pam does want to do the job, but that the administration is kind of redirecting her for all these other tasks. And of course, you can imagine how that could happen. You could get so many tasks, you don't have time for anything else. And she's looking at a lot of the things that are not relevant because of it and being told kind of what to look at. So I'm going to say that it is possible that Pam does really want to make these arrests for the American public. So George, you go ahead.
I'm raising my hand. I call bullshit. I'm going to tell you why. Everybody why. We all know that Trump and the admin were trying to hide the Epstein files because they even said it. There's names in there that, some people just their names are in there. It's going to, be bad for them. He said it. Trump said it himself. So no big surprise there. Okay. I got that. But what about the Russia hoax? What about the election, the stolen election 2020? What about COVID crimes? What about, I don't know, insider trading in Congress? I mean, nothing. Here, they're trying to confirm another AG to go with Vice President Vance to do their fraud thing. You know what? Yeah. And he that AG, once he finds stuff, now he's got to bring it to Bondi in order to, to seek arrest or whatever.
But if theoretically your boss was being advised by some people and your boss kept coming to you and saying, no, do not, that's not where we want to go. We want to focus on this, this, and this. And your boss was constantly doing that with you. Now, you and I would buck it. We would push back and probably get fired. I know that.
We know they're doing it for the Epstein files.
This conversation, George, was extremely convinced and said a lot of things to me that I can't say and told me why they believed that Pam was very, very credible in the phone call. Because the conversation went on for about 45 minutes about that topic, which was a long phone call. I don't normally talk to this person.
So you're saying that Pam Bondi can't do any arrests for the Russia hoax or the election because they got to do it? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that rather than the directive be the Russian collusion hoax, Epstein, the deep state, that she's being handed over and over again, an agenda that is not parallel with what the American people want, because it's people around Donald Trump that are advising him, don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this.
Okay.
And Pam voiced an opinion that she felt like it wasn't genuinely what needed to happen.
Okay. So we know this about the Epstein files. We know that she, she's probably told, don't go in that direction, leave it be. But obviously, because of the goodwill of the people and speaking out, they, calling them on their BS, they had to put stuff out. Now, how can you tell me, how can you say, or anybody say, that they're steering Bondi away from trying to do election integrity, arrests, and this and that, when Trump himself has been putting stuff out on it? Trump himself has been putting stuff on the Russian hoax, talking about it. I buy it. Hold on. I could buy it with Pam Bondi with the Epstein stuff. That I can see them doing it 100%.
Okay, let me tell you why I think. Because I think sometimes we have to think about that Donald Trump, at the core of Donald Trump, is a salesman. And I often believe that because he's made lots of statements in public, but the agenda post of those statements, like, for example, how about the credit card, the 10% interest max on credit card? That date went and, came and went. We haven't heard anything more about it, but he made a really public show that credit card interest is too high, said he was going to fix it. Again, that's only one example, but I feel like sometimes that he says what everybody wants to hear, but he does not necessarily deliver on what those statements are, because, of course, showmanship and salesmanship are parallel. So I'm not, again, if anybody's been going after Pam Bondi, it's been me. But because
I think I lost you, bro.
I'm just going to tell you that just because of the source, and I just texted you the source. So
I know who the source. I spoken to the source. I know, but
No. Yeah.
Listen.
So I'm not flip flopping. I'm just telling you that it is possible that maybe she does want to do what we want her to do. And maybe it's being held back for a number of reasons.
Okay.
Like I said, George, there's still people around Trump.
Listen, let's take a step back. Let's you said you brought up Trump. He's a salesman. Yes, he's a salesman. Just like yes, he is. However, Trump has an ego, and he wants nothing more than to be right about everything, and to be proven right, and to have his name out there about right. He did talk about how they stole the election from him. He agreed about it, bitched about it, rightfully so, as he should, because I would have too. So he wants to be proven right, so he can get in front of the cameras. See, I was right. They stole my election. That. So I'm not buying that part. I buy it with her with Epstein. Yes. So.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think there's people around Donald Trump, influential people, that like the first term are potentially misguiding him, and also
absolutely Susan Wiles being the head honcho,
using their power and influence to also intimidate the staff that's around him?
Susan Wiles, that's number one.
100%. That's exactly who I'm talking about.
I know. I've said that months and months ago. People are afraid to bring up that name and talk about it.
Yeah.
She's got, you may not believe it, but that woman's got a lot of power behind the scenes. I don't know if she's got Donald Trump by his neck right now.
Curlies, huh? Short and curlies.
Yeah. I mean, shit.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's funny. Kash Patel, when his name gets brought up in an investigation and he finds out they were listening to his phone calls and listening to Donald Trump's phone calls, no hesitation. 10 FBI agents get immediately fired.
Where you going? You skipping?
I'm just bringing it up because I think it's relevant. You tell me, George. Isn't it funny that when it comes to him, immediate firing?
Well, who else was implemented in that?
Donald Trump.
Susan Wiles. They obtained the phone records of Kash Patel. You might as well do
exactly
it.
My point. Yeah, George, that's why I love you, bro. That was exactly why I brought this up now, because her name was in there. So my question is that where the phone call? You better fire these sons of bitches now. And that's the thing, right? When it comes to other people, you still don't see any retaliation for the J6 committee or the J6 investigators that ripped apart regular Americans' lives for a peaceful protest, that agitated the crowd with less lethal munitions, that used lots of undercover agents to instigate the crowd, to crack the magnetic door open, to break the window, all that stuff that they tried to blame, MAGA for. But none of those people got fired. I haven't heard anybody but getting cracked in that deal. I mean, let's face it. If we really went after all the FBI agents that had committed crimes during the Biden administration, had committed crimes against J6ers, how many of them would be left in D.C., honestly? How many would you fire? Hundreds? 500? 300? How many would get fired? Just hundreds, I believe. But when it comes to Susan Wiles and Kash Patel, boom, 10 of them fired instantly.
Right?
Yeah.
And don't be surprised if you see somebody getting arrested or something. More to this. Somebody just put in a chat, counterfeit cash. I like that. I really do.
Yeah.
Had high hopes for that, man.
I did too. And again, look, after hearing about this phone call, I don't know. I'm concerned as usual, because I've always said they better go after everybody. Because listen, if you want to win the midterms, here's for anybody in the administration listening. I can tell you how to win the midterms very easily. Start arresting people. A lot of them, hundreds. I bet you win.
Here's the thing with Jack Smith, right? He did all this fugazi stuff, right? And then Judge Cannon dismissed Smith's case.
I love that word.
Judge Cannon dismissed Jack Smith's case based on both unconstitutional elements. Now listen up. The appointment by U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland and unlimited funding given to Jack Smith, both without approval of Congress. It's null and void. Should be. We have a clip. You want to play the clip since we went to the story?
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, I jumped because of the Susan Wiles connection.
Yeah, I know.
I think that was right.
That's all right.
And you nailed it, by the way, without even knowing.
FBI Director Kash Patel out with an allegation that the prior FBI obtained his phone records, and not only his. What can you tell us about that?
Brett, this has been breaking in the last hour or so. We are told that, according to Kash Patel, the FBI director, the prior Bureau leadership obtained his phone records and phone records to current White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles back in 2022 and 2023. This eventually led into the Jack Smith special counsel investigation into then former President Donald Trump. We're told that some of these records are just toll records, which don't have specific information other than times and dates. They don't have the actual content of calls, but two sources in the FBI say that Susie Wiles' attorney agreed to be recorded by FBI agents in 2023. She did not agree. We've reached out to her for comment. FBI Director Patel, in a statement to Fox News, calls this outrageous and deeply disturbing. And I will add, Brett, that we are told at least 10 Bureau employees have been fired just today over this incident, with more potentially to come. Brett?
Okay, we'll continue to dig into it. David Spun on Capitol Hill. Thanks.
And you know what's going to happen? Those agents are going to take them to court. They're going to say, "Oh, we were just following direction from our boss, Jack Smith." Mark my words.
And I want to add something. They say it's outrageous. During that time period, Susie Wiles and Kash Patel were just citizens. And I'm not saying it was a legitimate investigation. I'm not saying it wasn't weaponized, but those FBI agents were told to get subpoena. They were told to get wiretap, right? They went in front of a judge, and the wiretaps were approved. The phone call surveillance was approved. The phone call files was approved. So my point is, if this is so outrageous, Kash Patel and Susie Wiles, then how come when it happens to regular Americans, you guys just turn a blind eye? That's what I don't see. That's my point. This is
here's a question though no one's asking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Susan Wiles is not part of the administration, the first one. She wasn't part of when Trump was there and speaking at January 6th and all that stuff. That's what Jack was going for after. So why Susan Wiles?
Because even during that time period, her connection to Donald Trump, they've had a relationship that succeeded even in this current administration. My understanding is that they have constantly been in communication and had a very ingrained kind of business and
once again, she had nothing to do with Jay. She wasn't there. She wasn't part of it. She's Marco Rubio's. She's been working with Marco Rubio for years. Building him up. Are you going to tell
me that this is the first time you've ever heard of the FBI going on fishing trips and trying to connect people into a network? I mean, they do it to regular citizens constantly. If they're surveilling, they might ask for your parents' phone numbers. They might ask
here's
for your
the
friends'
thing: what did they go with to the court or whoever to get those authorized? The wire. I can understand cash. But to get it authorized on Susan Wiles, that's what I would like to see, what they put in there.
I can tell you what they went with. I'll tell you exactly how they get these wiretaps. They went in there with lies, America. They went in there with bullshit. Oh, we've got to have Susie Wiles. We think she's conspiring with Donald Trump. And here's the nexus. Here's the mens rea of what we believe is going on in this conspiracy. Kash Patel is a participant, Susie Wiles, Mike Flynn, Roger Stone. That's what they do. They go in there, they lie their asses off. But here's the thing. They do it to regular Americans every single day. It's not just as Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a citizen during that time period. Susie Wiles was a citizen. Kash Patel was a citizen. And my point is, if it's good enough to fire 10 FBI agents so far for Kash Patel and Susie Wiles, then why isn't it good enough to fire all the FBI agents for all the J6ers? Why isn't when we find out about illegal wiretaps, illegal surveillance, how come those FBI agents aren't getting fired? How come those Department of Justice prosecutors that listen to those illegal phone calls aren't getting fired?
Well, some of them did.
It's happening all over the nation.
No, wait, some of them did get fired. What do you mean?
No, I'm talking about all the other cases. How about Securus Technologies? They've been eavesdropping on legal phone calls since 2006. How come all those prosecutors that got caught in Kansas City, got caught in New York, got caught in California, got caught in Maine, all of them that got caught, how come those Department of Justice prosecutors, when they listened to the legal phone calls and they didn't report it to courts, how come they didn't get fired? How about the FBI agents that listened to all those phone calls, the DEA, the ATF? Those are regular Americans. They're no different. And here's what I want to say, and George, and I know you get this. I'm not trying to in any way prove it to you. I'm trying to tell the audience. If Kash Patel is just a citizen and you're a citizen, and maybe there's people even in our audience that got hit for a felony sometime in their lifetime, got arrested, and they were surveilled illegally, how come when that gets brought up to the courts and that gets brought up to the DOJ and it gets brought up to the OPR and the Public Integrity Division and the Civil Rights Division, How come those people don't get fired? Why? Only because it's Donald Trump now as president of the United States? He was a citizen then. I'm not agreeing with what they did. I don't agree with any of it. I think it's ridiculous what they've done against Donald Trump, Kash Patel, and even Susie Wiles.
Lance, you're going to like this comment from Greg Motley in the chat.
Okay.
Trust the plan. Hold on. Trust the plan, my ass. I know you like that. So
yeah. And you know what? Greg, I'd give you a hug, bro.
Craig,
if you were here with us
Craig with a C.
Oh, Craig. Yeah. If you were here, I'd give you a freaking hug.
I don't know if you want that hug, bro.
I don't trust the plan. Here's the bottom line. Okay, I'll give you a bro tap then. No hug. We'll just bro tap. Here's the deal. I don't trust the plan. Because why? Because I believe they're using it selectively. I'm going to put this to Kash Patel. Maybe somebody will bring him this clip. Kash, if you really believe in justice, then why not start firing a whole bunch more? You were going to clean out the FBI. I've got your book right here. You were going to clean it and make the FBI building a museum. Why don't you start firing all the J6 guys? Why don't you start investigating Securus Technologies and find out how many FBI agents have illegally surveilled Americans that were defending criminal cases? We're talking about thousands, probably tens of thousands of people whose legal phone calls were listened to. Why don't you start arresting the Department of Justice prosecutors that listen to those phone calls? I'm saying if it is proven in any amount of shred of evidence that an FBI agent illegally surveilled regular Americans, not Donald Trump, not somebody that has a pedigree, not a billionaire, not Susie Wiles, who's connected to a billionaire. How about regular Americans? How about those people that got surveilled? Why aren't all those FBI agents fired? Why aren't they all prosecuted? Because the last time I checked, the federal government has wiretapping laws on the books. Now I'm talking about, in this case, they went and got the warrants. They went in front of judges. There's warrants for these wiretaps. Those are arguably legitimate wiretaps. How about the surveillance when they don't do it, when they use stingrays and they listen to people's phone calls and they end up in people's discovery, but yet there's no warrant in there? Are you going to start going after those guys? Are those guys going to get fired and arrested, Kash? Susie, are they going to get arrested and fired? That's my complaint. That's my complaint to Pam Bondi. Let's get on it for everybody. Equal application of law, equal protection under the law, rule of law. George.
Yeah. Hopefully he sees this. I don't know. What's happening to our world? By the way, I'm going to say this again. I always say this. We just got to disband our government, start over. Only way any of this shit's ever going to be fixed and corrected the right way according to our Constitution. We the people. It's not about we the people. It's about their own selfish interests and personal pockets of how much money they can make and how much power they have over us. Let's face it, because just look at John Thune. Just look at them. Majority of Americans want the SAVE Act. They want voter ID. But yet, nobody is listening to their constituents. But then they don't give a shit because the system is rigged with the voting, so they'll get themselves back in. They don't care. If they did care what we thought, then they would actually get off their asses and pass the SAVE Act. But they don't. Because the cheating is on both sides, both Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah. You know, the founders and framers believed in tar and feathering. Maybe rather than a dog parade, we have a tar and feathering parade of all the congressional members, all tar and feathered. Run them down the hallways and we can videotape them. Because again, Nancy Pelosi chomping her dentures during the State of the Union. She was wishing she was up there so she could rip up the State of the Union again. She's committed lots of crimes. I just want equal application of the law. I want Americans protected. And I want that if it's good enough to go after somebody because they went after Donald Trump, then it's good enough to go after somebody because they went after a regular American, just a regular Joe. Because I know there are thousands of criminal cases where they have illegally surveilled people. And yet, even when it's found out, oh, no, absolute immunity, qualified immunity. It's not. All it is obstruction of justice. It's deprivation of rights under color of law. Again and again and again. All right. George.
What?
Talk about Iran. What do you, George, read between the lines. You're the Ayatollah. You're there. And you know you're going to get jacked. You see the American fleets. You know the troops are stacking up. You know that it's coming. What are you going to do, George?
I'm getting my Ayatollah ass out of there. What do you mean, what am I going to do?
And what else are you going to do, George?
Take all my gold and money with me.
Crypto and oil. What are you going to do with that?
They already been sending it out to wherever, probably Russia. or wherever, China, so that, hold it for him.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the funds have been going out for over a month now, probably longer.
Yeah. And that's the point. That's the point. Because, of course, what we're talking about here, guys, is that all of a sudden Iran has been rapidly loading an unusually high amount of oil onto tankers. And why? In preparation for looming U.S. attacks. Now, they've been sending out their gold and silver. They've been sending out, my understanding is that they've moved a lot of money into crypto because, of course, they can just load it onto a hard wallet and have billions. They're getting ready to make their moves. High-end art, I understand that's also been getting shipped out. And here they are shipping their oil out. The writing's on the wall. They've exceeded. So I guess listen to this, George. Between February 15th and 20th, they reached nearly 20.1 million barrels, according to the tracking that they've moved out, which is far beyond what they ever do.
Hold on, I'm doing something, Lance.
Okay. So, I mean, this is a precise pattern. Iran employed this exact pattern, previous American airstrikes last year in 24, when the regime refused, of course, to evacuate as much. They went right into moving as much oil as they possibly could to move it out of there. They concentrated that supply at Karg Island that time. They're going to do the same thing. The satellite imagery is already analyzed, shows the scale of the effort. The number of tankers in waters southeast of Karg Island has more than doubled from 8 to 18 during these 6 days. So they know it's coming. And I'm going to tell you something for the audience. George, we talked about this yesterday. Now, you think the strike is going to happen when?
I think Friday to Saturday. Because it all depends. Because right now, they probably had the talks. It's in Geneva. I haven't looked to see, but if those talks don't go well, I think that's they're done. And Friday, okay, so they're celebrating Ramadan, for the start in February, is still going. But Friday is their day of, where they go to the mosque and pray and all that. I mean, it's a great time to fucking hit them, I say. Hold on, let me finish. Or, they fast all day during Ramadan. They don't eat until the sun goes down. So while they're all gorging on food at night, feeding their fucking fat bellies, fucking hit them, bro. Hit them with the rockets and shit. Send the fucking jets and the drones. Boom, 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 boom. They'd be like eating. They'd be so stuffed they didn't even want to move. There you go. Perfect. You're welcome, Trump admin.
Right now.
I just laid out the military strikes for you.
Okay.
I mean, they might not be doing it because the one brand new shit that we spent billions and billions on, $1 trillion on, is docked because their toilets all backed up because they screwed up on the system they built. Sad. Very sad.
Well,
Very
I'm
sad.
gonna throw out a different date.
Go ahead.
So right now it's 10 o'clock in Tehran, 10 o'clock. So a little after 10. So basically that would mean that their Monday is basically our Sunday if we're using East Coast time, right? I think that the strike, and for a number of reasons I believe this. I was talking to somebody who's very well connected, and for anybody out there that's a poly market person or a Kelshi person, I would tell you that I believe the strike is going to happen on Monday. Now, when I say Monday, I'm not positive about this because I didn't want to be too probing when this person was talking to me. It could be their Sunday, which is, their Sunday, our Sunday, which is their Monday. Or it could be our Monday. So I think that if you were going to be a betting man, you would bet on Sunday and Monday. I think that's when the strike's going to happen. This person was fairly convinced that we'd start seeing kinetic action at that time period. So we'll go on the line here. You guys can bookmark this. If I'm wrong, you can call me out on Monday night, or you can call me out on Tuesday on the show. Jump in there. Maybe I'll be wrong. You never know. Things could change. Maybe Iran will make a deal. I don't think there's a deal to be made. Personally, I think this isn't just saber rattling. I don't think Donald Trump would have moved this volume of forces in if the strike wasn't imminent. Now, I know Pete Hegseth, he's not going to let us use pizza signals because he's saying he's randomly ordering large amounts of pizza for the Pentagon. So the pizza signal may not be on track this time.
No. But, when you have Vance coming out yesterday talking about Iran, Rubio, I got the videos. They're short videos.
Let's roll.
Let me play the two, and then we have another bigger statement. Hold on. Here we go.
For principle is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they try to rebuild a nuclear weapon, that causes problems for us. And in fact, we've seen evidence that they have tried to do exactly that. So the president sending those negotiators to try to address that problem, as the president has said repeatedly, he wants to address that problem diplomatically, but of course the president has other options as well. On what we need to see from government.
Yeah, well, and then we have Rubio. Let me just play Rubio, and we'll go.
I think tomorrow Steve and Jared will be there. I think they're on their way there now, actually. And the president was very clear last night that he always prefers diplomacy. But I want you to understand, and everyone should know that Iran poses a very grave threat to the United States and has for a very long time. They are in possession, first and foremost, after their nuclear program was obliterated, they were told not to try to restart it, and here they are. You can see them always trying to rebuild elements of it. They're not enriching right now, but they're trying to get to the point where they ultimately can. The other thing I would point you to, however, is that Iran possesses a very large number of ballistic missiles, particularly short-range ballistic missiles that threaten the United States and our bases in the region and our partners in the region. And all of our bases in the UAE, in Qatar, in Bahrain. And they also possess naval assets that threaten shipping and try to threaten the U.S. Navy. So I want everybody to understand that, and beyond just a nuclear program, they possess these conventional weapons that are solely designed to attack America and attack Americans if they so choose to do so.
You know what's funny?
Yes. Is it funny or is it?
No. We've been hearing, I don't know how many years. I'm talking over 10 years. And I should have got all the clips. I didn't get them. And you hear a lot from Israel, too. Oh, they have nuclear weapons. They're possessing nuclear weapons. How long? We've been hearing that for, over 10 years. Stay away from this. It didn't work well when they used that excuse when they, went into Iraq, right? Because
weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah. Kuwait, was it Iraq? Yeah. Iraq or Kuwait? One of them. Yeah, Iraq. With Saddam. Proven wrong. Let's just look, we know Iran backs a lot of proxies that go after Israel and even our soldiers. Just by that, we should take them out. And I say this, take out Iran. Once we do, and free the people, get rid of the name Iran, bring it back to the name Persia. Because Iran's just got a bad name. Bring it back to the Persia. I think the people would like that too. Because a lot of good Persian people I know here that don't even want to be associated with the name Iran or that regime.
I don't blame them.
But so now, you were talking about influential people over Trump, right? So now you have senior advisors of Trump that are saying they prefer Israel to strike Iran before the U.S. launches an all-out assault. Why? Because optics, politics, it looks better for them. And Israel, if Trump called Netanyahu right now, says, go ahead, bro, light him up. Netanyahu's giving it a green light, and he's going to start doing it because they want nothing more to get rid of him. So,
but what that does, which I think is kind of a coward's way in. If you feel like they're an enemy, we know that they've funded lots of global terrorism. We've connected all those dots previously. Why do the Americans need Israel to pull the trigger? Because they want Israel to do it so that the Iranians will strike Israeli targets and U.S. targets, which of course risk American lives. Why wait? If you know these people are causing, lots of problems in that region, and you've connected it to global terrorist money, why wait? Why do you don't need Israel to do that? And in fact, I think it's a mistake. I don't think there's any reason that America can't strike first, strike hardest, go in and do what they have to do. Look, and I agree with George. Let's change it. Let's have the Persian people take their country back. And let's make sure this time, though, let's not do this, go in and strike and wait for the reaction. Let's just go in and completely mop up this entire regime. And any of the money that they moved out of the country, the gold and silver, let's claw every dollar of everything back. Let's seize all that oil. Let's just take it. I'm not telling you not give it back to the Iranian people or the Persians. I'm saying let's not give them any of this opportunity because the money is what they need, right? So, big stuff. Illegal immigrant drivers.
Nothing to see here, Lance. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
Illegal immigrant drivers, George. How do you feel about their driving, George, in general, for these illegal immigrants?
The more I see this shit that's happening, the more it frightens me, man. Because listen, you could be the best driver in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you have to drive defensively. But more importantly, when people, they say they have trust issues, I do this all the time when I go out and speak. And listen up. So people are like, oh, I have trust issues. I said, and I go to them, trust issues. I'm like, you drive? Yeah, I drive. I said, oh, every time you get in a car, you trust that other driver is going to stop at the stop sign or stop at the red light or not cut you off. You trust your mechanic to fix your car correctly, that when you get your kids in the car, that they're going to be safe. So what do you mean you have trust issues? That makes them think. But seriously, you have a tractor trailer going down the highway on the wrong side of the highway, doing this for like 3 miles. This was in Missouri. I mean, you don't realize you're driving down the fucking wrong side of the road. You don't realize cars are coming at you on a highway. And you have the right to the right of you is the other side of the highway where people going in the same direction as you. I mean, really? Forget about they can't read the road signs. Okay. But you can't see that? I mean, how dumb can you fucking be? But how dumb is the person that gave them that license? There's no way they passed that test or could have taken that test. I don't believe it. It's this is like, seriously. I mean, you look at the highway you're driving, it wasn't crowded. Where I live, fucking roads are crowded, man. I live 10 minutes from New York City. Highways are always crowded. Imagine that sucker barreling down. Oh my God. How many deaths? Thank God no one was hurt in this. And it was, they brought him to a stop. I'm going to play the video. Just look at it. This is real.
So let me say before you start, so this has already been confirmed that this was, the Transportation Secretary confirmed that this was a foreigner with a Minnesota CDL.
Yes.
Minnesota. Thank you, Minnesota. Keeping our
Thank you, Tim Waltz. Fucking jerk off.
How much of a winning issue it is.
18-wheeler going the wrong way down southbound 61. He is on the northbound lanes of 61 going the wrong way. You can see I'm going southbound on 61. He's in the northbound lanes on Highway 61.
You got a video? Is this the inside of the cab?
Yeah, with the driver, like, fucking like, oh, yeah, I just fucked up. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I do not know what happened. I was driving and I do not know. Yeah. Thanks, Tim Welts. You piece of shit. All right.
I'd like to see Tim Welts show him that and then see what he has, how he's going to justify that. Really?
He's going to say that CDLs are racist.
They could be.
They're racist. Yeah. They're racist. And that he didn't have anything, he doesn't know anything about it, but he believes he has to protect these illegal immigrants because, of course, they're funding him. It depends on, I guess it depends whether was the driver Somalian or Pakistani, and did he donate to the Walsh campaign? That'll be the question. If he donated, then, Walsh obviously is going to come out on a limb and say, he didn't do anything wrong. The road signs are confusing. Who hasn't made that mistake? Wouldn't it, but if he
okay, but don't keep fucking driving, pull over.
Listen, George, I was being sarcastic.
No, I know. I know you're being sarcastic. But it's the thing. All right, we all make mistakes, but you can't see you're driving down the wrong side of the highway, and maybe it would be safer to pull over and figure it out before you keep doing it. That was in Missouri. Somebody just said that was in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, but shit. Look, we've seen it in Ohio. We've seen it in Florida. All over the place. I wonder what happens if that truck was driving down the wrong side of the highway in Minnesota and hit, I don't know, Tim Waltz himself, maybe, or God forbid, hit his wife or his daughter driving. Maybe then would he have to do something about it? Is that what it'd take? God, I hope not. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. But it seems like they're that nuts that that's what it's going to take. Same thing with like keeping these rapists and predators, put them away. Does one of these Democrats' wives or daughters or even their young kids got to get raped or I mean, shit. I hate myself for even saying that, but is that what it's going to take for them to wake the fuck up? They're letting out some predator early in California. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know, Lance. Fuck them.
Well, the Democrats are in a panic as usual. And I thought you had to have ID, I guess. They're now saying that Donald Trump is planning on, or at least looking at, making it so every single bank in the United States would mandate that they must verify the citizenship of their customers. I think it's a fair and valid move. Of course, KYC, know your client. I don't mind it. I don't mind proving that I'm a citizen of the United States for my bank accounts. It's not because I want the government to have more control. It's just because without bank accounts, it would make it very difficult for these illegals to stay here.
You think so?
Well, I mean, depending on how they're getting paid. If they're getting paid cash on the table, no. If they're getting paid by legitimate companies, like trucking companies, as an example.
You know what would happen, though?
Positive funds, they would be checks or they would be direct deposits. If they didn't have a bank account, what would happen?
They could do it in crypto.
Yeah. They could. Of course, he could make the crypto companies, he could make it a requirement for them also. So, let's play the clip.
Trump could soon force banks to take part in an immigration crackdown. What I mean by that is sources tell CNN the administration is considering requiring financial institutions to collect and verify their customers' citizenship status, something banks aren't currently required to do. One source says the new policy could come through an executive order. CNN's Matt Egan is following this story for us. So, Matt, what are you learning about how banks are responding to this possibility?
Yeah, well, Omar, this does appear to be part of the Trump administration's aggressive immigration crackdown. Sources tell CNN's Priscilla Alvarez and I that the administration is considering new action that would require banks to check the citizenship status of their customers. Now, this would be something that would actually apply not just on a go-forward basis, but also to existing customers, which is pretty stunning when you think about just how many customers the banks already have. Now, this action could also require banks to check a different category of documents than what they normally look at, including passports. Now, I do want to stress that nothing here has been announced or finalized. It's not clear here whether or not this would come in the form of an executive order or some other action. We reached out to the White House, and a spokesperson said that any reporting on policy that hasn't been officially announced is just speculation. But some Republicans do support this. Republican Senator Tom Cotton, he put out a post on X yesterday where he said, "I strongly support President Trump taking action to prevent illegal migrants from accessing our banking system." And he said he sent a letter to Treasury last fall asking for an investigation into this matter, and that he plans to introduce legislation on this issue shortly. Now, Omar, you asked about how the industry is reacting. Officially, they're not really saying much, right? Representatives from major banks, from bank trade groups, they haven't commented on this. However, sources do tell CNN that the industry is concerned here because they're worried that this kind of action, it could almost compel them to be part of the administration's immigration crackdown. One financial industry source told me that verifying every bank customer's citizenship status would be unworkable. This source said it's a bad idea. We are very alarmed. Now, banks are required to adhere to anti-money laundering rules, know your customer rules, but they don't track the citizenship status of their customers. So if this did become official, that would certainly be a significant change. There's also some questions about whether or not this could discourage immigrants from keeping their money in the bank. Even undocumented immigrants, they do play a significant role in this economy. In 2023 alone, undocumented immigrants, they paid $90 billion in federal, state, and local taxes, and they had spending power of nearly $300 billion. And just one other point for you here, Omar. The president does talk a lot about cutting red tape. It's something he's very proud of. It's something that he mentioned during the State of the Union last night, where he took credit for cutting a record number of job-killing regulations. But this potential action related to banks and the immigration crackdown does show how, in some cases, the president has actually added new red tape and regulation where he sees fit. Back to you.
Something to watch for moving forward. Matt Egan, appreciate the reporting. Meanwhile, our next guest made headlines when he resigned.
Lower yourself, Lance.
Yeah, I know.
Oh. Yep, we'll see how that plays out, if it gets done or not, if it passes. But you have to do the crypto too then. Figure it out. But if they can't get bank accounts, then they can't get housings, get mortgages too. What does that do? Makes the housing more affordable for everybody. But Democrats don't want affordability. What do they want? More taxes, more money. All right, Lance. Why is there even Chinese military pilots near our bases and stuff? This is what I don't understand.
Actually, they weren't near their bases. This instructor went to China.
Oh, he did? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he went to China. So we're talking about Gerald Eddie Brown Jr., who was arrested by the FBI for allegedly training Chinese military pilots to fight against the U.S. Now, I don't know what happened here. This guy was a major. He had a 24-year career. He commanded nuclear weapons delivery units. He led combat missions. He instructed on the F-4 Phantom, the F-15 Eagle, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, the A-2 Thunderbolt, and the F-35 Lightning II. He had a stellar career, from what I understand. I haven't seen his actual
keyword had.
Yeah, I mean, and clearly as a major, he had a really solid retirement. I don't really understand what happened here. What turned this guy? His plan was to go over and work for, the Chinese Air Force. He wanted to train Chinese military pilots how to combat U.S. pilots. I mean, this is a betrayal of the country, but I can't figure out what turned this guy.
I mean,
it's just pretty unbelievable.
Hold on. I mean, I just want to play devil's advocate for a second because I'm just curious.
Yeah.
If he's not, is it really against the law for him to go to train anybody to, if he started a business doing it? Is it in his military, paperwork that he can't do that? I don't know. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, between the oath and the agreements you sign with the military, you're not supposed to take any of the technology or use it to.
But it's not technology. It's maneuver.
Well, but the training's considered technology because they obviously gave this guy a very high level of training, a high level of access.
Okay.
But pretty unbelievable. I mean, so he went to China in December of 23, and he stayed until February of 26. So on his first day, I guess he answered 3 hours of questions about the U.S. Air Force. On his second day, he presented a brief to the PLAAF personnel, and he explicitly stated his goal was to instruct fighter pilots again and hope for assignment to the local equivalent of the U.S. Air Force Weapons School. I don't know. It's awful.
Yep.
It's awful why he would do this, but I don't know if he really still wanted to. Yeah, I'm sure.
Money.
It was money. I'm sure.
Money. All right. Anybody from Nebraska in the chat or watching the show? I'm just curious because, and this happens this is a scary thing because we've seen it happen when you're sleeping in your house. It happens anyway, just standing around.
Florida gets a lot of these.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah, Florida's known for it.
So this happened in Omaha, Nebraska. 2 people were at a light, in their car, chilling, waiting for the light to turn green. And boom, sinkhole opens up underneath them. They go in. Lucky, thank God they were okay. But what's even more shows that people came running to help pull them out of there. I'm gonna play the clip. There's no audio for this clip, so we're just watching it. My bad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Didn't come with audio.
Of course, everybody else is backing up. Wow.
You
You're
back
in the
up
car,
too.
Mind your own business.
Because you're right there. Look at the hole, but it could go deeper. You don't know.
If it's not dangerous enough to be worried about illegal immigrants while you're driving, now you got to worry about getting sucked into the planet in a sinkhole. Not great. Terrible stuff there.
Yeah.
I'm laughing, but the truth of the matter, it could happen to anybody. Lots of sinkholes.
There's a person coming out from that car. See more people come running up to save them, help them, which is very nice. Say this. You know what? Say what you want about Americans. Hold on. You can say whatever you want about Americans. I don't care, black, white, Democrat, but when there's people in trouble, a lot of times people pull together and help each other out. Can't take that away from us.
Well, judges gone wild. That's what I'm calling this.
Judges gone wild.
So a federal judge, super drunk. This video just came out, even though this happened in October. Of course, they were probably trying to cover it up. Super drunk and belligerent federal judge slurring his words after he crashes his Cadillac, deploys the airbags. When he's asked what happens, he doesn't know what happened. Doesn't seem to really know where the hell he's at. I can't believe he hasn't completely been fired or recused for this, because talk about a violation of public safety. And of course, when the body cam footage, he shows a super drunk judge slurring his words, and he denies having anything to drink whatsoever. Hasn't had one cocktail. So I guess he was just,
Well, don't you mostly all criminals when they get caught deny it?
Yeah.
You said he hasn't recused himself or anything?
No. I looked it up.
I mean,
he recused himself from one case that I thought that was that he had recused himself, but he hasn't. No, he still wants his job.
I mean, but
his
you got to
blood
say,
alcohol
though,
level-
you got to say innocent until proven guilty, right, though? In that sense?
Yeah, although his blood alcohol level was 0.27, more than 3 times the legal limit. I'm sure he'll claim that he's got, he has a substance abuse problem and he just needs help and he shouldn't lose his job because of it. Of course, if that was a criminal, if that was a citizen sitting in front of him, he'd probably give him all kinds of mandatory time. Let's play the clip.
Okay.
12 News at 6.
Where are we going? We're going to jail.
The Michigan State Police body camera video of the arrest of a federal judge from mid-Michigan is released. The judge's blood alcohol level being well above the legal limit. 72-year-old district court judge Thomas Ludington was arrested in Emmett County back in October, suspected of driving under the influence. He was charged with being super drunk, that charge for someone whose blood alcohol level is double the legal limit. Terry joins us here in the studio, and Terry, the police report shows it was even higher than that.
Yes, Dawn, the police report indicated Thomas Ludington's blood alcohol level was 0.27. The body camera video shows a man who didn't know how his car crashed, didn't know why his airbags were deployed, and had trouble following police instructions.
Sir, can you get out of the vehicle, or is your door stuck?
Nope. I can get out. I'm not exactly sure why these deployed.
It's a little after 7 o'clock at night on a rural curved road in Springvale Township, east of Petoskey in Emmett County. The police report shows a caller saw a black Cadillac driving with its hazard lights on and crash into some signs and almost rolled over.
What's your name?
My name?
Yeah. Tom. Tom, tell me how much you had to drink today.
Nothing tonight.
Nothing.
Ludington tells the trooper he is a federal judge. Ludington was appointed to the bench in 2006 by President George W. Bush. Ludington lives in Midland County, but told police he was on his way to his vacation home in Harbor Springs.
I want you to be honest with me. Tell me how much you had to drink today.
Seriously, I don't think I had anything.
You don't think so? Where are you coming? Where are you coming from?
Federal court in Bay City, Michigan.
In Bay City?
Yeah.
So you've driven all the way up from Bay City?
Yep.
The trooper shows Ludington the damage on the right side of his vehicle, but Ludington tells him he can't explain how it happened and why the airbags went off. Ludington had difficulty understanding the sobriety test at times, and the trooper grew frustrated when the judge wasn't blowing into the portable breathalyzer.
Once you try that again, take a deep breath.
What are we doing here?
We're taking a preliminary breath test, but you're not following my instructions.
Why not?
Because you're not blowing.
Then Ludington got frustrated.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay. Go ahead and take that for me. All right, sir, turn around, place your hands behind your back. You're going to be under arrest for operating under the influence tonight.
Ludington was put in the state police vehicle, calling the state trooper an expletive before being driven away.
Again, the state police report showed Ludington's blood alcohol level was 0.27, well above the legal limit of 0.08 and above the level of 0.17, known as super drunk. He faces a charge of operating with that high BAC. I reached out to his attorney for comment, but did not hear back. Thomas Ludington is still serving as the U.S. District Court Judge in Bay City.
You want to hear a funny story? This is in the 90s, I believe. Yeah, in the 90s. There was in Morris County, a corrections officer. He's a young kid, too, probably in his early 20s. He got a DUI, and he lost his license. And his mom used to drive him to work. And they used to say, my friends told me, that inmates used to fucking break his balls every day. Funny. I don't know. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink. You'll be safer.
Yeah.
I'll be safer if you don't drink. All right.
Yeah.
Look at this. Be happy you don't live near a volcano. Even though we got one of the biggest ones. Where is it? I forget
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, but that's what? Is it Wyoming? Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Goes through a couple of states, but that sucker's big. But they call this a mud volcano. And I'm like, what the hell is a mud volcano? Looked it up. It's when volcano is formed through the earth, the dirt, mud, and becomes a mud volcano. Okay, great. This is in Colombia. This shit went off yesterday. I mean, look, it looks like a nuclear bomb. Look how bright it is and stuff. Look at this. Crazy. Imagine living there. You see that shit going off? You're like, what?
Yeah, you'd be worried.
Yelena!
Ahí me lo pasa ahí. Así pasa el cambio fin del mundo, muchachos.
Oye, ¿esto dónde?
Volcán.
Oh, shit. Okay, Lance, you keep going. I got to do something.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. At the end of the day, the tough stuff. Hopefully those people are safe. I don't know how it's going on right now, but those volcanoes are no joke. Let's talk about, let's go back into this because I don't know that I guess we already played the clip. We don't need to talk about Kash Patel, correct, George?
Huh? No, we did that already, bro.
Yeah, I think we need to. All right, let's talk about this. I know this vault. This is really interesting, and it seems uncanny, the timing of this. So there's a UFO vault that has had lots of declassified information in it. And of course, they've also uploaded.
I got breaking news, bro.
Oh, go ahead.
Air's mommy just gave us a $40 donation. My Crisivia. Much love.
Thank you so very much for the.
You're lucky you're in Russia. I might have to scoop you up if you weren't, but you're in Russia.
All right. We really appreciate the tip. Thank you.
If I go missing, if I get kidnapped, look for me in Russia because she might send Pootie after me.
There you go.
Just saying.
Well, we appreciate that. Always supporting the show is a big deal to us. Any Rumble Rant tips and paid subscriptions, that recurring stuff helps us. There's lots of bills. You'd be surprised what comes in, even having to have high-speed fiber. You can't get a normal home plan. You have to get big fiber if you want good connectivity. So, all right. This UFO vault. Now, of course, that Donald Trump came out and said he's going to have every group declassified. This particular group has been collecting documents for decades. They had a lot of stuff online where they proved they asked about documents connected to something and their FOIAs were basically refused, which they're not supposed to do that, but they did. So this it's called the Black Vault. If you guys aren't familiar with it, it's a website. It's run by a researcher and UFOologist, John Greenwald Jr. had its main server reportedly wiped clean on February 20th. They deleted hundreds of gigabytes worth of files on UFOs, declassified CIA projects, and major conspiracies, including the assassination of JFK. He shared this information online. He doesn't know what happened. It wasn't a hack. It's as if somebody had the passwords and just decided to wipe the server.
I mean, like somebody like NSA?
Maybe.
Okay.
But you have to think about these top secret cover-ups. Did they not want the FOIAs out there proving that once this information was released, that this information had been asked for many times? I don't know. Greenwald's been kind of he did not fully suspect foul play, but he noted that he couldn't rule out the possibility because of the suspicious information he had received from the website hosting provider. They told him they had no idea what happened on their side. They said it was a deletion, not corruption, not a hack. And the researcher posted this on Saturday. So I say it's unsavory. You guys tell me. All of a sudden, we're going to get this release of all these documents. And, you know, Greenwald had filed over 11,000 FOIAs. And those FOIAs were up on the server. Of course, that particular area is what got wiped out. Pretty interesting. I don't know. Seems suspicious to me, George. What do you think?
Very suspicious. Listen, you can't. There are no coincidences. Just so happened that Trump's going to release it, and this stuff gets missing. Somebody in the government agency did it, whether it's NSA, FBI, or CIA. One of the three, guilty. Guilty by association. But once again, why do they keep trying to hide this shit from us? I mean, we're not stupid. Although, let me rephrase that. Lance. Us conservatives, we're not stupid. Can't say that for the liberals, though, Democrats. Sorry, but it is what it is. I think they would freak out. Oh my God, all the liberal women and the soy boys. Oh, what am I going to do?
Well, the soy boys might want it. They might be like, oh my God, great. I can get probed by an alien.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you know what? Thanks, Jim, for that comment. He's right. Good news, Jim. You tell me they didn't have a backup? Wasn't backed up? Come on.
I thought the same thing, Jim. I wondered. I'm not saying they do or didn't. They didn't go into the dialogue on that, but I think the timing is uncanny. All right, Bill Gates, George, what's going on here? Is Bill Gates coming clean, or is this just his way of?
I don't know why he, apparently, he didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't. Why is he not getting arrested then? He came clean, where he's going to his workers, apologizing. Apologizing for what exactly, though? Being in the Epstein files? Being with women? Being with underage kids? I don't know. But he did apologize to his staff for his Epstein ties and admitted having affairs with 2 Russian women. The Russian women. And there's mommy left. She can't hear this. You know, them Russian women, when they get a hold of you, man. If you know how to handle a Russian woman, you know how to put them into place. I mean, look at Bill Gates. He's your typical fag soy boy. You know, you can't handle Russian women the way they need to be handled. But anyway. And you want to know why Melinda Gates divorced him? And he did give her an STD, right, too? The boot?
Yeah, but it's okay because he was going to cure it secretly.
He tried.
He was going to give her drugs to cure her STD secretly. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. This guy is such a lowlife. And I guess he was petitioning Epstein. It's already been proven in the files, often mentioned as the Peace Prize. He believes he deserves a Nobel Prize. Are you freaking kidding me?
For what?
This guy deserves a Nobel punch in the face, maybe.
No, he deserves a prison cell, bro. That's what he deserves.
Yeah, I agree. But maybe a punch before he goes in the prison cell. I'll be happy to deliver it if they want to have me authorized to make the arrest. I'll say that he was unruly and pushed back, and I'll give him one good elbow. All right. Bill Gates is what it is, 27 or 28 alleged trips to Epstein Island. This guy should be inside of a jail cell. All right. We heard this story. We're not going to play the clip. We're just going to talk about it here quickly. You guys can do your own research. Epstein. A lot of people have alleged that the prison Epstein is not the true Epstein, that Epstein was smuggled out.
We've said that years ago. Okay.
Right. Through a fake medical. And it turns out It looks like that might very well be right. And here's the reason. For a lot of people out there, they might not know this. Epstein had some dialogue in the Epstein records. We didn't have time to look this up, so you guys can go into the Epstein files, look for yourself. He had mentioned in some of his emails that he had no prostrate, and he had to take hormone replacement along with Viagra to perform. So I don't know if he was born with no prostrate or if they had to remove it. I'm not really sure about that part, but here's what's really interesting. Epstein admits in these emails that he has no prostrate, but the morgue autopsy for the Epstein body, which it looked at this point, looks like it was an Epstein body replacement that was taken out of the Bureau of Prison Systems, which means that the Bureau of Prisons and others would have had to have known that Epstein was going to get smuggled out, and they would have had to agree to it and participated. If I was Congress, I would subpoena the warden of the facility right now. I'm not saying he knew, and I would subpoena every officer, and I would do a full investigation. At least this is what Kash Patel should be doing. The body had a prostrate. So there is a morgue report that reveals the autopsy of the alleged Jeffrey Epstein doesn't match unknown medical condition. Both he and his doctors have referenced this in the files. So what we're talking about is that the morgue report says that the body they took out had a prostrate that was enlarged. He was suffering, but unlike Epstein, it existed. So in one end, Epstein admits he has no prostrate. On the other end, the Bureau of Prisons, their mortician or the morgue submits a report that says this body had an enlarged prostrate. So how does that work? You guys tell me. There's more to the Epstein story than anybody knows, of course. Who knows what's been destroyed, what's been filtered out by the Department of Justice, by the FBI, how much stuff ended up in burn bags, how many people are being protected. It's disgusting, but I'll tell you what, if you do anything against Kash Patel or Susie Wiles, you're going to lose your job, maybe get arrested. But when it comes to Epstein, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Yep, no problem. All right, George, if you like the show, don't forget, leave us a comment, hit a reply button. Of course, the best thing is hit that follow button. If you can do the paid subscription, please do. The Rumble Rant tips, thank you so very much for those that participated today in that. It's always a help. If you'd like to sponsor the show, hit us up at info@thebigmig.com. Now, don't forget, Friday, Crypto Power Hour. Dr. Mike Schwartz probably joining us.
Not probably. He said he's coming.
Oh, he is for sure? Okay.
He better come. I'm going to kick his ass. I'm going to drive down to where he lives and kick his ass.
Okay. So Doc Mike coming on the show. It should be a lot of fun. Friday kind of show. We'll have some fun on that show. Crypto Power Hour. We did almost 150,000 views on Wednesday. Thank you for that. It's all because of you guys. Get the word out. That is the #1 crypto show on Rumble. Head over today. Go over to Chris Pavlovski's feed over on X and say, man, Crypto Power Hour. Looks like you have the #1 show on the internet for crypto.
You know
shows.
what, Lance?
Congratulations, Chris.
The new show that had their first episode yesterday that the Big Mig Media is producing and working a lot behind the scenes. Yeah. It's called On the Rocks. That's right. We are producing the show and doing everything. Their first show, they got 34,600 views. They're doing their show right now Wednesdays and Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you see them, check them out. Give them a follow. It's called On the Rocks.
7 p.m. John Rocker, funny guy.
MLB baseball player, and then Southside Steve Rickman, who's a radio host for a very long time. There was some funny shit, though.
They are some funny sons of guns. If you like Barstool Sports, it's very Barstool Sports.
So hold on, let me just do a little thing real quick, Lance. So yesterday, there were Steve Rickman was talking about how he's into feet and stuff, right?
Oh no!
So while they're talking, I went and got some feet pics and started putting it up with them.
You should have put up some really gnarly. You could have been funny, George. Put up some really gnarly pictures of feet and said, "We hacked these off of Steve's server."
Hold on. Well, yeah, I didn't think about that, but hold on. I did put up. There was 2 different pics of cute feet, and then I did put up a gnarly one for them.
No. You should have said, "Steve, I don't know. We just hacked this off your server. I'm not sure about you, bro."
Yeah, I didn't want him to have a panic attack on the show live, so God forbid.
Anyway, so of course, producing the show, another one in the Big Mig Media lineup. Congratulations to those guys. Great outing. And they got quote posted by Chris Pavlovsky.
Yeah.
Quote posted John Rocker's post about being on Rumble and thanks for the views. Chris jumped right on board, so fantastic. We'd love to have Chris quote post the Big Mig and maybe quote post the #1 crypto show. How about that? So whatever you can do, make sure you jump over to Chris's feed over on X. Drop him a nudge. Tell him we love the Big Mig show, guys. We'd like to see more of them. We love the Crypto Power Hour. We'd love to see more of that. Great shows. Let's let him know. All right, guys, listen, we really appreciate you. Hit that follow button on the way out. Go over and follow the John Rocker Show and Dr. Mike Schwartz on the rocks, Steve Rickman and John Rocker. Give that a follow. Funny stuff, man. These guys are a crack up. And they're dropping back cocktails while they're doing it, so you never know what's going to happen on that show. Yes, for real. So you never know what's going to happen on that show.
You should feel sorry for me because I'm sitting there doing all this stuff while they're doing the show. Oh, my God. They drive me crazy. I love them, though.
They're funny guys, though.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace.
I might have to let it drop. Said got it hella big, had the money back again, get like said had the money.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At CSPOA.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit CSPOA.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's CSPOA.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA. The future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom, and you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies, ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on Earth, these canine units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit WarriorDogFoundation.org.